The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, on your new fire apparatus, job number 33214. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting down at the front bumper, passenger and driver side, you'll find dual air horns. Just inside of that on the bumper face, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker systems. Just inside, you'll find 2 closed tow hooks located in the front face of the front bumper, and located in the very center, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move to the outer edge of the headlight bezel. First, where we'll find the marker light located on the outer side is the ambered color light. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find the turn indicator. And then further inside toward the middle is where you'll find your headlight structure housing a low and high beam headlight. High beam is on the inner side and the low beam is on the outside. Moving up from that location, you'll find an emergency warning light, and then further up you'll find grab handles on the passenger and driver's side. Let's move to the outside of the vehicle, where you'll find at the lower section just off the bumper extension is where you'll find a side-facing emergency light and reflector. Moving up to the top, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across your seamless one-piece windshield. All the way to the brow of the vehicle, you'll find 5 running lights across the brow. Located in the center, you'll find a forward-facing bar light. And then moving out to the outer edges, you'll find a emergency warning light on the very roof section. Located with inside that warning light, you'll find your opticom. Just on the top above the opticom is where you'll find your go light spotlight. Let's now move to the outer edges of the cab. Let's first start with the mirror. On the outer right and left side, you'll find dual mirror. It is a convex and also a flat mirror. Moving to the section just above the notched area is where you'll find a side-facing scene light. There is also an access door located just behind the driver and passenger side. This is closed access only from the exterior. Also located at the rear section of the cab on the passenger side, you'll find an open access compartment, and then moving back up to the driver's side, you'll find LED lighting and adjustable shelves. The opposite side does have a closed door access location. Let's now move up from this location where you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. There is also a digital readout within the plug itself. Moving just to the right, you'll find your air eject. This is an auto eject plug also. Beneath that, you'll find your foam drain and also intake drain for your foam system. Let's now start in the upper left-hand corner of this image with your through cross-lay compartment housing 4 locations. We'll start now with the very top of your pump intake. It is the large gauge on your left, and to the right you'll find your pump discharge. Located between the 2 of those gauges, you'll find test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. Let's move down to the left side where you'll find a schematic. First, starting with the top schematic, this is your foam system instructions, and then just beneath that you'll find your Husky 3 foam system specifications. Moving to the right, you'll find the FRC in control. This is your pressure throttle governor. Moving down from that location slightly to the right, if properly engaged, this green light will be illuminating, indicating that your pump is engaged. You also have an audible speaker here that does have the outer edge of the bezel available to dampen the sound volume. Let's start at the top with the front scene lights, driver's side scene lights, officer side scene lights, and rear scene lights. There is also an air horn located here. The red switch will be that identifier. Just beneath that, you have a future switch location. Moving to the right in the red module, this is your Husky 3 foam system module, which controls your foam system. And then to the right, you'll find your foam level for foam tank A. Moving also to the left, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then to the very far right, you'll find your tank fill. Let's move down now. There are a set of switches here. First, starting with the warm water, that's an indicator. And then to the right, you'll find your 12-volt warm, 120-volt warm, and then warm water pump on and off. There is a dial to the right, which is your warm water rinse. We do place a warning sticker here regarding entanglement hazard because of hoses coming off a loft. Across the middle section here are all your discharge handles. And to the right, I would like to call out these specifically. These are 3 electric gauges that you'll find here for discharges. One, your deluge discharge, and then also your driver's rear discharge. As we stay within this image, we'll move to the right where you'll find your water tank level indicator. That is the blue indicator here. And then moving just slightly to the right, you'll find a warning label regarding fall hazard. And when you're climbing on and off the vehicle, be cautious. Just beneath that, you'll find your fire pump primer. There are instructions here regarding at least 1,000 RPMs while utilizing the fire pump primer for best practices. Moving further down is where you'll find an additional electronic valve. This is the officer side large diameter discharge. To the right on the panel, you're going to find instructions here regarding the warm water rinse. And then you're also going to find your minimum operation maintenance schedule plaques. We'll go over those in just a few moments. Underneath that, you'll find only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after receiving proper training. To the right, you'll find the type of pump that you have, which is a Watrous. And then beneath that, you'll find additional warning label here indicating that caps may be under pressure and be cautious while removing them. Let's go back to that minimum operation maintenance schedule, first starting with the job number in the upper left-hand corner. This is your 150, 200, and 250 GPM test pressures, and the right-hand side will be the RPMs associated with those test pressures. As we move to the right of this location, behind the pan door is where you're going to find your warm water rinse drain. That's the yellow handle. As we move upward from this location, you'll find the brass nut. This is your relief valve setting. Moving to the right, you'll find your tank to pump. You're also going to find a rear inlet. This is an electronic valve. And then just beneath that, you'll find the TFT, which is going to be the passenger side auxiliary inlet, large diameter. As we move down, you'll find a warning label here regarding not to mix different foam consistencies for foam failure. Moving just to the right, you're going to find inside this compartment door. This is your foam fill operations. You can see the yellow handle inside the door. These are the instructions regarding the use of that foam system. Across the very bottom, you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains, and also information here regarding your warm water rinse and also air outlet. Let's move now to the next compartment where you'll find inside this compartment a pull-out door. That is the release mechanism on the right. Moving all the way to the very top shelf, which is adjustable, you'll find plugged into the side panel is your Wilbert auto mast system. This is your light tower. As we move to the center compartment, you'll find LED lighting and adjustable shelving, dry deck material on the bottom space. And then also just beneath that, you'll find SCBA bottle storage locations in front of and rear of the rear tire. You'll also find the location for your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. It is the silver cap. As we release the flap mechanism down, you'll find your blue cap, which is your diesel DEF tank. Moving to the rear compartment, you're going to find once again adjustable shelving, LED lighting. But at the very top of this compartment, you're going to find a shoreline outlet. It's a 20 amp plug. When plugged into shore power, that will be activated. You also have within this same compartment 12 volt access. The red and the black are your hot and grounds for 12 volt DC power. As we move to the rear of the apparatus, you're going to find a pull-out style rear tailboard. And then as we move to the left and right, you're going to find your stop, turn, backup, and also emergency light cluster. There are also fold-down steps located on the driver's side. In addition, at the very top left-hand side is where you're going to find your backup camera. Just above that camera, you're going to find your upper warning lights. Let's now move to the center section where you'll find your traffic advisor, and then we'll go through some of the close-ups of those images that we just talked about. First, let's start with your hose bed lights. This is a cupped switch which allows you to turn on lights within the hose bed, and then also a close-up here of your backup camera. Let's move back to the center section of your apparatus, where first we'll take a look at the driver's side discharge,
and then all the way to the right-hand side, you also have a driver's side intake. Moving to the center, let's cover a few warning labels. First, entanglement hazard because of those hoses coming aloft. Also a warning here regarding fall hazard, and then once again not riding on the rear of the apparatus while it's in motion. Moving to the right, we do have a pressurized cap warning here. Pressurized caps may be hazardous. These are close-ups of the images that we just talked about. First, your rear inlet on this side. On the opposite side, it was going to be the driver's side discharge. Down at the very bottom, you've got me on what this is. I've not seen this before. I'm sure you're familiar with what it is, I hope. As we move down to the rear compartment, we'll find your rear compartment housing LED lighting, adjustable shelving, and also dry deck material. Your hose bed does have split dividers and grab handles within those hose beds, and there's also side compartmentation on the left and right side. Let's go ahead and move now up to the dunnage area. This is going to be just over the pump area, midship location. First, let's start what the yellow diamonds are. Those are indications for firefighters for safe areas for walking. It also indicates the edge of the safe walking area. There are two covers here which you can gain access. One is your water fill location, so you can gain top access without having to open the entire compartment. The other is your foam fill location. Same concept, do not mix different types or brands and consistencies of foam. You do have top access here to entirely the space by releasing the latch mechanisms and opening that area. To the right, you'll find your red line, which houses a tensioning screw and also a motor failure manual rewind. Difficult to see in this image. What we're trying to point out here, this is your Husky Foam System 3 hydraulic reservoir. There is a fill location, and now we've zoomed into the lower section so you can see that. As we move to the cab itself, this is a non-walking surface. You can see by the warning indicators that this is a non-walking surface. That's why we put those stickers in that area. Let's now cover some of the compartments here. First, starting with the compartment. This is the passenger side rear, LED lighting, adjustable shelving. As we move to the very top of this compartment, you'll also find shoreline outlet when plugged into shore power. Once again, that's activated. And then two blocks here, hot and also ground, 12 volt DC. As we move under this location, you'll find the rear inlet air bleed and also your folding wheel chock. Moving toward the rear section of the apparatus, you're going to find SCBA bottle storage location and also air bottle storage. They do have retaining straps for bottle safety. As we move now to the midsection compartment, the D handle allows you to gain access to the tool board. When that tool board is in the open position, there will be a lock that will display. The release mechanism is on the hinge side, just inside. There's also a warning label here regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures, and be cautious where you park your vehicle. Let's move now to the forward compartment. Once again, LED lighting, adjustable shelving, and dry deck material. What I'm pointing out here is shoreline access, 20 amp, and also the two locations here, or one location for 12 volt. It's a positive and negative. Just underneath, you'll find a foot pedal for your reel rewind, and then also you'll find a rear inlet drain. Let's now move to the midsection of the apparatus. We'll cover a few warning labels. Once again, fall and warning here regarding not riding on the side of the apparatus. In addition, with an entanglement because of those cross lays. And then also we do have caps that may be under pressure, so be cautious when removing those caps. Let's move now, identify a few items. First, the powered equipment rack. We do have some indications here regarding danger and caution. This is for your cab lift. There are instructions to raise and lower on the right hand side, along with a protected switch for the raise and lower function. As we move now to the powered equipment rack, you will find also a danger label here. Because of that rack moving, there is the possibility of crush. As we move to the midsection, these are your cross lays. You can see the 2.5, number 1, number 2, and number 3 cross lay. Just beneath that, you'll also find the connection point for the number 2 and number 3. You'll also find your large diameter pump discharge. It is the green indicator, and then to the left, you'll find your auxiliary inlet. Just inside the pan doors where you'll find your equipment rack, this is the hydraulic reservoir. There are instructions on the door. As we move down further, you can see the use of the different types of oil that's used for this equipment rack. And then as we move across the very bottom, you'll find all your associated discharge drains, color-coded and also labeled. You do have an extension here on your side running board. This does give the ability to pull that out to gain additional space for that running board. Let's move inside the cab now. We're now into the rear section of the cab. At all points of entry, you'll find these warning labels here for firefighter safety. You'll also find on the passenger and driver side, rear section, these handles for gaining access inside. On each of the sides, there is compartment light switches to gain access for lighting those compartments with interior. Underneath the exterior seat, you'll find a light box located on the pedestal seat riser in the very center. You'll find 12-volt barrel style access, and then overhead you'll find push on and off red and white lights. We're now to the front section of the cab. This is the officer's area. You'll find those warning labels also affixed on the door panel. Your vehicle is equipped with an airbag. It's currently in the out of service position. Because of that airbag, do not mount anything within that area. To the right you'll find your windshield wiper fluid, and at the floor level you'll find a foot pedal which will control your mechanical siren. Let's move overhead in the cab, point out a few things. Just first starting with push on and off red and white lights. There are also speakers, and also you have intense map reading lights directly over each position. Let's move to the center area where you'll find 12-volt access. These are two at the top with silver. Those are going to be barrel style, and then just underneath that you'll find USB. You do have an intercom system. This is the push to talk for that intercom system. To the very far right you'll find your unit number 786, and then also your Go Light control. You do have a Sirius XM weather band CD player radio, and then also a set of switches housing the driver's side scene, front scene, officer scene, and siren brake in red. The other switches are programmable. They are memory switches. Let's move down to the left toward the center area where you'll find your unit control command radio. And then also I'd like to point out in the very center this red puck style light indicating either you have a compartment door open or ajar. Also just in front of it you're going to find an audible speaker. As we move to the driver's side now, we're going to find once again affixed to the door panel all of those warning labels. Down in the lower right corner, when plugged into shore power, this will activate indicating your charge level. Your seat does have comfort controls. They're located on the left-hand side and also directly in front. Let's move now down to the lower right ankle of the operator where you're going to find this yellow placard. This is manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority. This has the date of manufacture, job number. It also has gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire inflation information, VIN number, and also all of your fluid capacities for the component, fluid capacity, type, and amount. Down at the foot pedal area, you're going to find electric siren, also mechanical siren foot pedals. As we move up about left knee area of the operator, you'll find your master battery switch on the left. That is the silver switch. To the right, you're going to find tech module, engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports. As we move down, you'll find 4 switches here. First, ABS diagnostic, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, and regen inhibit. To the right, you're also going to find a display port here. Once again, this is for tech information for your service technicians. Just up from that, about left knee height, you'll find the Go Light, which is the control module for the light on the top of the vehicle. On the right-hand side, right knee area, you'll find the road to pump and pump to road. This is your pump shift. You do have instructions for both of those indicated on the right and left side. Before exiting the cab, you should have 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump for pumping operations. Also to the right, you're going to find your flat mirror and convex mirror controls. As we move to the dash area, you're going to find the ignition and start switch on the left-hand side. As we move to the center, you'll find this smaller switch, which stands for EM, Emergency Master, that will engage all of your emergency lights with one push of the button. To the right, you'll find your headlight and parking lights. And then to the far right, you're going to find your panel switch, which allows you to brighten or dim the panel lights within the column area. You do have a placard located here indicating your height 9 feet 11 inches, length 31 feet 1.5 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 44,000 pounds. If you make any revisions to your apparatus, please update this placard. Let's move just to the right of this location, and we'll talk a little bit about the steering column. Your vehicle is equipped with a SRS supplemental restraint system airbag. Now looking at the dash, on the left you'll find your transmission oil DEF level and water temperature. On the right you're going to find volts, front air, fuel, and rear air. Located in the center you'll find your tachometer, speedometer, diagnostic information above and below the speedometer area. Quick view of the right-hand side of the dash area. We'll cover these items next, starting at the very top with your Pierce Command Zone. Tremendous amount of information here right at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for more information. Just beneath that, you'll find a set of switches housing the engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, front wheel lock, off-road traction, mirror heat, and then also your tire chains. Just beneath that, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake, push to release. It is the yellow diamond on the left. And then you'll find your Allison transmission pad, which does have a pump in drive indication. You do have climate control, heat defrost, heat, and also AC. And then moving to the right, you'll find your PA speaker system and siren control. Let's go back overhead now, where you'll find a radio push to talk. It is a push button on the far left. As we look through, we'll identify two sets of switch panels here. We'll go over those next, starting with the one on the left-hand side, emergency master in red, an Opticom switch, high beam flash, wheel scene lights, and then also front scene, driver's side scene, officer scene, and rear scene. When those switches are engaged, you will see the outer edge illuminate in green. To the right, we have a backup alarm override, perimeter lights, load manager. Just beneath that, you'll find a red siren brake switch, and then also a horn selector switch. Once again, all of these switches are programmable. They are memory switches. To the right, you'll find your traffic advisor. You also have a digital clock located near the center, and also your pull lanyard for your air horn. Looking overhead just quickly here, we have some speakers. We also have for your unit radio, and then also headsets. Behind the driver's seat, you're going to find this cluster of electronics. What I wanted to point out, this is your accessory cutoff switch. It will turn off all of your accessories by one switch. You also have sufficient positive and negative 12-volt access located in the very rear area also. Just a quick glimpse inside to the rear section. You'll find an SCBA located for a quick release located on the floor area. As we move up from that location on the pedestal, once again, this is that 12-volt battery plug. Underneath the seat, you're going to find your battery charging system. And then you're also going to find storage on the left and right hand side, rear facing. In the center, you're going to find an access panel. That access panel houses your daily checks for oil and transmission. Congratulations, Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority, Washington, on your new fire apparatus. Job number 33214. If you have any questions about your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you.